We're live.
Hello, everyone. Happy Sunday.
Happy September, everybody.
Oh, yes.
Today we are going to talk about one of our least favorite topics. And a little bit of everything, all about the cruise news that's been going on the last while, but mega ships have been dominating the news. So we're going to figure that out.
Well, hello and welcome. We are Jill and Jerry, the Cruising Canucks.
Yes, and this is our Sunday live show that turns into a podcast on Monday mornings. If you don't catch us live, you can listen to us on repeat. Or like I do, listen to you when you're driving into work.
There you go. Do you re-listen to us as you drive to work on Monday mornings?
I listen to myself to see what I had to say. Yeah, I kind of miss it.
Do you surprise yourself?
Yeah, sometimes I say stuff that I don't remember saying. I
wonder if maybe you hear stuff that I say, because lots of times while we're doing the show, I'll say something and then 2 minutes later you'll repeat it and you don't even realize that I already said it. Maybe that happens.
Possibly, yeah. That's how I know what you say. So you can't get away with anything.
Right?
It's recorded.
Oh, my.
Oh, so yes, today we are going to be talking about a whole bunch of different things in the cruise world. Like I said, a lot of it is big cruise news, as in bigger ship news. Doesn't make us happy.
Not really the cruise news we like to talk about, but it is what's making headlines this week in the cruise industry for sure.
Yeah, there's some interesting twists in there. I thought I'd pull apart. There's different pieces to me that are all kind of connected that have to do with some local news. Local news? Specific cruise news, I guess.
I was just going to say.
Nothing local. Northern Ontario doesn't have a lot of local cruise news.
No.
The odd time we see a ship go down through the Soo Locks, the Viking ship, that's about as exciting as it gets here.
For a cruise ship in Northern Ontario?
Unless you consider our little boat down at the marina a cruise ship. If that's the case, there's been lots of activity down there. Well,
we've been enjoying it a little bit, as much as we can here and there this last few weeks.
Yeah, we've been trying to squeeze the last little bit of the summer. Today's weather turned the other direction. It's sunny, but it is windy and cold.
Yeah, it's not really cold. Well, cooler, yes. Cooler. Yeah,
instead of being like 25, 26, it's down to about 19. So it's dropped a little bit. And what do we got going on next? We've got, so this week's video that came out, we finally managed to get at least we, as in me, embarkation video came out.
It did.
So you saw us get on Cunard for the first time, Queen Elizabeth. So yeah, we had a blast. Hopefully that came through in the video for those that saw it. If you haven't seen it yet, still a chance to see it before the next one comes out. Yeah. This week, we're hoping to have the plans go on schedule. Hopefully we'll have day 2, which is a sea day on board the Queen Elizabeth. We explore all around the ship. And then we do day 3. Remember we were day 3? Sitka.
Did I say it right?
Yeah, you said it right and you got the right answer.
There you go.
Yeah, so that was our first time in Sitka. So you're going to see that hopefully by next weekend before this time is the plan. So yeah, we have some plans too. We're doing a little bit of kind of stuff with family this week and working this week and a whole bunch of stuff, but I'm hoping to get some editing. It's a holiday weekend here where we are.
It is.
So that means all day tomorrow I get to edit.
That's what you're doing for your holiday?
It's my holiday. The holiday is called Labor Day, so I'm going to put in lots of labor.
Lots of labor on in the editing room. That's the plan for tomorrow.
It is. And maybe at the same time tomorrow we'll be working and we'll get out the latest email to our newsletter subscribers.
Yeah, if you haven't done so, please subscribe to our email. It sort of gives you an up-to-date of what's going on. Yeah, I think we're up to almost 500 people on the email list now. So, and we've now done it 2 weeks in a row. If we do it tomorrow, it'll be 3. That'll be a record by a long shot. Yeah. So, well, when we first started it, we were only doing it once a month. Now we're trying to do shorter ones coming out more frequently. That's the strategy. So we'll see if we can keep it up.
For sure. And I think that's all I have for the beginning updates. Okay. And no big news, new news really on the group cruise.
No, just sort of I'll reiterate what I did say last week. If you haven't already done so and you're booked on the group cruise and you want to do a group excursion, then you can go on the Holland America app via your phone or their website and book it yourself. And it's going to say Cruising Canucks and the name of the excursion. So we have 2 excursions booked, one being in Jamaica and the other one being in Cayman Islands. And so if you're interested in joining us on one of the excursions, you can sign up via your own account and your own app. But make sure it says Cruising Canucks.
There you go. And if you don't join us, you can watch the blog afterwards and see what we did.
There you go.
Either way, you'll be part of it. is photo of the week.
Photo of the week.
We were kind of getting away from photo of the week because for those listening on the podcast, it's hard to see photos, although we do a video podcast.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought I'd throw it in because someone else offered another picture like last week. So I thought, I'll give a chance to show it. The only thing is it was very wide. It was a wide angle shot, so it's not going to show up very well.
Oh, okay.
We'll try.
We'll
I'll show you what it looks like. Here we go. And let me just change some magical stuff here. There we go.
You can only sort of see the ends of it.
Just kind of see it. Yes.
There's 2 ships in Seattle. Is that what it is?
One is the Royal Caribbean Ovation, I think. Ovation of the Seas.
And the other one's a Celebrity, from what I can tell.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's the Edge or which one it is. I think it is the Edge, yes.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I have a screen over there. I can see it better. That's why I lean that way. And I get all my information off camera. Yeah, so, yeah. And if you move us around a little bit, let's wiggle us downward. There we go. You can just...
Oh, you can see the tower in behind.
Yeah, so they use that for scouting. They watch for enemy Carnival ships, and that way they know to avoid them when they get near the Royal Caribbean ones. They put that big, like an antenna, but there's a person up there watching.
No, that's the arm of the right?
Is it?
What do they call that? You're going to give me the name. Come on, the Royal Caribbean. They have that arm that you can ride in.
I thought it was a spy tower.
Okay.
No.
Sorry, guys.
I don't know what it's called.
Mind.
What's it called? The eye?
I don't know what it's called now. I'm going to get it wrong.
Somebody online, I guarantee, knows what it's called.
Oh, I'm sure.
I think it's the eye.
Is it?
And we'll see if Scott knows or not. I'm sure somebody knows. Oh, so that's the picture of the week from the Cheeks, by the way.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
And we're tiny now. Let's get big again. There we go. And where are we next? I got sidetracked.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, with comment of the week. I'm saving the trivia for a little later for you so you can get warmed up, right?
Okay.
So the comment of the week comes from Chris. He is asking in one of his comments on YouTube, you want to know, be interested to know how by it he means Canard, compares to Holland America, Princess, and Celebrity. You want to know how you think it compares to that. Now, we haven't been on Celebrity yet.
We haven't.
So we really can't compare Celebrity, but we can compare it to Holland America and Princess, and I'll let you answer. Good answer.
Yeah, good answer. I think it's probably, if I had to pick one of those 2 cruise lines, I would say it's closer to Holland America on sort of ship design, layout, elegance, all of that sort of class part of it. And then more on Princess when it comes to entertainment. That would be sort of my thing.
So 1, 2, 3.
Okay. What's 1, 2, 3?
For you.
Oh, you want me to put this? No, I can't do that. Well, I will say, I mean, I had a fabulous time on Canard, but I don't think it's my number 1 cruise. I think I'm still fighting for that number 1 spot in my heart is still Holland America and Princess sort of seem to be pretty neck and neck. And I can't really say that there's one that I prefer over the other. But I think perhaps Holland America, depending on the day. That's how, yeah.
On my next cruise, I'll probably confirm this. But for me, Princess, I have 2 princesses in my brain. One is the bigger ones, the newer ones, and then there's the older ones.
Right.
And I suspect if the older ones are the one that I'm considering, they're going to get a higher evaluation than the newer ones.
Right. Yeah, we love the Caribbean Princess, for instance, in that size. That's what you're saying, as opposed to the Enchanted and the Sky. You think they're too big?
Yeah, I think if Caribbean Princess was like the entire Princess fleet was that ship, then that'd be cool.
Jerry finds something he likes, guys, and he just sticks to it and sticks to it. Hence why we did 22 Carnival cruises before we tried another cruise line.
Well, there's that Mein Schiff 1, Mein Schiff 2, why can't they have Caribbean Princess 1, Caribbean Princess 2, Caribbean Princess 3?
Some people like variety in their lives, but obviously that person's not Mr. Canuck.
So if Caribbean Princess is in the running, I probably would say that Princess would be 1, Canard would be 2nd, and Holland America 3rd.
Oh, wow, really?
I feel all the Holland America ships feel similar to me, although Volendam, I think, elevated the experience for me. Yep, and I've only been on 1 Canard, so it's hard to kind of mix all different classes of ships.
It is hard.
But if it's the newer Princess ships, then it might be Canard, Holland America, Princess. Yeah. I know. We'll see. See after the next couple of run of ships we're doing, because we're doing the newest Princess and one of the older Princess. That really might move Princess around that ranking.
That's true.
That's true. Not false. Oh, so are you ready for trivia?
Oh, shoot. Yeah, here we go.
Here we go.
My favorite time
Everybody in there ready?
Show.
Okay. here we go. I do see, before we get to the trivia, Scott has rescued us. It's called the North Star.
Thank you.
That is the name of that spy antenna that goes up from Royal Caribbean.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's what it's called.
Mm-hmm.
The North, did I say? Yeah, North Star, right? We got
a few other people.
Steven
said it too. Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Everybody knows about us.
Yeah. Again, we're not cruise experts.
Why do we
just love to cruise.
Why do we have a channel? We don't know. We don't know what it's called.
If I only had a memory. I regret that. I wish I had a better memory.
If it was something on the buffet, I'd remember it.
Yeah, that's true. Things near and dear to your heart. Food.
Okay, here we go. We've held it off way too long.
Okay.
So, trivia is about megaships. So if we consider a megaship, based on the changing yardsticks here, to be anything that's over 200,000 tons. So we're talking the big ones. How many are current sailing around the world? So how many ships over 200,000 tons, if we call that the new yardstick for megaships, how many do you think there are that are over that amount?
I wouldn't have a clue.
Peggy's got 10 for her guess.
Very good.
So you already got some guesses coming in.
I couldn't tell you how many tons the average cruise ship is, so I wouldn't even have a benchmark to go on my estimation with that.
You don't have a guess?
Are you gonna give me like the average or the tonnage of, say, a smaller ship, so I can sort of give me.
Scott's the guy for that.
Kelly's saying 2. Wanda and Paul are saying 16. Scott's saying 18.
Monty's saying 6. Ob and Steve are saying 8.
Oh, okay.
And the proper answer is what Ruth and Ob and Steve say.
Oh, really? 8? 8. So they are.
Oh, I didn't say
Royal
that.
Caribbean.
Let me go. Here's the answer.
Oh, okay.
I got a follow-up question to it, though.
Oh, okay.
Maybe that'll kind of answer what you're saying.
The answer is 8.
Answer is 8.
Okay.
So part 2 of the question is going to be, are all these mega cruise ships over 200,000 tons, are they all Royal Caribbean?
No, I don't think so.
And if not, who else is in that group?
Carnival, I believe, got into that group with their like celebration, and MSC got into it with their newest ones too.
Scott is saying MSC.
Oh, okay.
He said it twice, in fact.
Oh, okay.
He's so confident.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that would be my vote. I would say both
We got Norwegian, Carnival, Disney.
Norwegian. Oh, I don't think Disney has them that big, do they?
Now remember, we're talking current ones sailing. MSC is another guess. The Hadley Coles got their guess in for 11. They're 3 too high. Oh, here's the answer then.
Okay. What's the answer?
Of those 8, 7 are Royal Caribbean.
7.
1 is MSC.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And that's the World Europa.
Okay. So celebration, Mardi Gras, all that, they're not considered mega?
Not by that definition, believe it or not. Like, I know, that's what I mean. Like,
I would consider them mega ships.
If you go back to like Oasis of the Seas, then you've got probably closer to 20, maybe close to 18, like Scott said. If that's your definition, you're probably in the high teens for mega ships.
That would be where I would be feeling it too.
I had to draw a line in the sand somewhere. And the big reason I drew that line in the sand is probably going to be the next question.
Oh, gosh.
3 questions.
3 trivia questions.
Oh, it's mega. So there's got to be mega amounts of trivia, right?
Okay.
And here we go. Trivia 3 is, how many mega ships, if we use 200,000 as that benchmark, are currently on order to be built in the next several years? How many do you think? We've got 8 now. How many more are going to be built in the next little while?
In the next how many years? How many years?
Well, as far as people have announced it. So it could be up to like 2027, maybe later. So in the next several years.
I'm going to say 8 more.
Paul Wander's saying 5. Monty's saying 4. Allison's saying 6. Scott's saying 7. Kelly's saying 10. I feel like an auctioneer.
Yeah.
Do I hear 11, 11, 21?
5.
5.
Yeah.
We'll put everybody out of their misery, and there is going to be some shock and awe going on right here.
Oh, no.
Get ready.
Oh,
no one's even come
Nobody
close.
guessed it. It's a lot more. Okay, let's change our votes, everybody. 18.
The amount of 200,000 plus mega ships on order right now that we're going to see in the next several years hit the oceans is 15 of them.
Oh, wow.
So they're not going to just double. We're going to have 2 times as many as there are now in the next several years. That's insane.
Wow.
We talk about the insanity. I think someone mentioned earlier on, they talked about the insanity. So, and I broke it down to Royal Caribbean has 4 on order. They just announced another one this week. Carnival has 3. They're going to break that threshold. MSC has 3. They're going to break that threshold. Norwegian's going to build 4 of them.
Wow.
The biggest for Norwegian for sure. And Disney's got 1 as well.
Wow.
That adds up to 50 new mega ships on top of the 8 that are there now. That's insane. Like, I literally think that's insane. When I saw that number, I thought I have to put this on the live.
That makes me think we're never selling our boat. We're just going to start cruising on our own little boat because there's not going to be any small cruise ships left for us to cruise on.
And everybody on the live is going to have to get pulled behind us on a dinghy. If you don't fit on the boat. Yeah. Abed Steve are saying that's too many. Can you imagine all those at a port at once?
No, I couldn't.
As a general rule of thumb, these 200,000 plus ships are carrying, over 4,000, 5,000 people. Some are carrying 7,000 people or more. Some have over 10,000 people when you count the crew on them.
Right.
Yes. Can you imagine? Because the crew get off as well when they get to port sometimes. Can you imagine 10,000 and there's 3 of those things part in Costa Maya, of course, like where they always are. And you're going to have 30,000 people in Costa Maya, a place that fits about 50 people comfortably.
Yeah. A couple hundred anyways. Yeah.
More over tourism is coming our way.
It's funny. So, we've been debating back and forth amongst ourselves, like what's going to happen with all these ships when they get to be, they've outlived their sailing date. What do we do with them? Where do we go? And I was thinking about it the other day. There's so many cities that have overcrowding and not enough housing for everybody. Maybe we just dock them at ports and they become affordable housing in these big cities. I don't know, because obviously they can hold a lot of people. It could help some housing shortages around the world right now.
You should run for politics with ideas like that.
No.
You should run for office, I think, with ideas like that. I think so.
Yeah.
So the last little segment before we start digging into more details about mega ships. One more little update to do. It's a new little piece I have during hurricane season called Jerry's Cruise Weather Updates.
Are you kidding me?
No.
There you go. You can't get away from the meteorology, everybody.
I thought I'd take a look and see what's going on because it is hurricane season. I saw an article out where I won't name the website that said more hurricanes are expected in the future. Well, yes, because hurricane season is coming. It was kind of Captain Obvious. But I did see that there is a storm that's brewing probably by early this coming week. It's going to be near the Windward Islands. I don't think it's going to be a hurricane at that stage, but it's going to be unsettled weather that has the potential to become a hurricane by the time it moves across towards like Roatan, Belize by about Friday. So we've got family cruising actually in and around the Caribbean and Bahamas and everything else in the Atlantic. So we're kind of watching it for that reason to see what's going on.
Yeah.
So that's the weather update. If you're cruising this coming week in the Caribbean, if you're going towards the south part, there's a bit of a storm. Not sure if it's going to quite hit hurricane strength or not. We'll have to watch it, though. It's something to keep an eye on for sure. And what about Jubilee? I'm just seeing a couple of comments coming in here. And what is the next thing? So getting back to mega ships, I saw this quote. It made my brain turn a couple of gears, and I was trying to figure out this logic behind these crazy big ships. And we'll jump back to the comments in a second. So make sure you have some marked out there. So Jason Liberty, the Royal Caribbean president and CEO, said this in an interview about these mega ships. He says, newer, larger ships can break even on cash flow, even if they're only at 35% capacity, whereas the smaller ships, it takes 50% capacity to be able to break even to run that ship. That's why they're building mega ships.
Okay, so now I have a strategy. I think I want to go on it when it's only at 35% capacity, because I'm telling you, some of the best cruising that I feel like we've ever done was when we just started back at cruising and the cruise ships were only allowed to have 50% capacity. And so when we did 14 days on New Sondom at 50% capacity, and it was marvelous. There was no crowds. There was nobody anywhere. So is there a way you can find out how full it is before you book? I wish they should put that on the website. If they say they're at, 33% capacity, I'm booking. But if they're at 78% capacity on a mega ship, I probably wouldn't book.
There's kind of a negative feedback loop there, though. If you're watching for the ships that don't have anybody on it and everyone else is doing the same thing and you all book it, then it's going to fill up.
Yeah, no, it's true. You would have to do a last minute booking,
It'd
obviously.
have to be your own website nobody else can see.
That's true. Can somebody please just give me those stats privately, quietly?
So basically what I'm seeing here, for me to cruise on a ship and think it's not like crazy busy, I need to cruise on it when Jason Liberty is just breaking even. I'm really happy on the ship.
When Jason Liberty. Oh, yeah.
So
exactly.
That's the comfort zone for me.
Yeah.
What's really interesting, though, if you compare this, the capacity of the big ships that he's talking about with the small ships, that 35% of the mega ships is almost the exact same number of passengers as 50% of the small ones. It works out to be around 16 to 1,800 people is where their kind of break even is for small and big. I thought that was really interesting. So if they only have 1,800 people on a ship, doesn't matter if it's a big one or it's a small one, they're making the same amount of revenue. It's the same break even. I guess it costs less to run a small one, right?
Right.
But there's some interesting math.
Less staff.
Yeah.
Less fuel.
But what I did look up, I left my piece of paper upstairs. I did some math.
Oh, of course you did.
And it was interesting to see that to build a smaller class ship, like something like Adventure of the Seas, for example, because we're talking Royal Caribbean here, it cost them, back when it was built, it cost them $500 million to build it. Icon of the Seas cost them $1.89 billion, almost $2 billion to build it, where it cost $500 million to build Adventure of the Seas. So that's kind of interesting in itself. Now, Adventure of the Seas was built so much earlier. I even did the math and went back and say, what were the dollars then worth now? I was just
going to say, did you put in inflation in that?
I did inflation.
Of course.
Inflation came out to about $850 million it would cost to build the Adventure of the Seas now.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it's still $1 billion less. So I still question, that math there. Is the mega ships, yeah, they're making more money, but when it costs $2 billion a ship and you're building 15 of the things, like at some point will the cruise industry not be over tourist just in itself? And maybe that's the day we're waiting for, because then the cruising prices are going to go down when there's so many monster ships with so many people. Who knows?
Who knows? My fear is we just won't be able to go anywhere with them. The whole point that we love cruising is that we're able to get on a ship and wake up a different day in a different port or a different city, different country, all of those wonderful things that we've come to love about cruising. And if it gets to the point where you're only allowed to go to one or two spots, then it becomes a little, it's definitely not a way to explore our world if you can't get to the ports.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Maybe we'll jump back and see a couple of comments before we get to more of the news. And some of the news has or mega ship stuff in it.
Okay.
But yeah.
All right.
And did you have any that you saw? What time are they at, if you did see any?
So Joan at 2:22 was saying she's going on Norwegian Joy September 10th from Quebec City to New York. First time on a mega ship, so quite nervous. It's a reunion group cruise, though. But Joy's not that big of one, right? No. Like, I wouldn't be too worried about it.
It is kind of, it was a mega ship 5 years ago, I would say. Yeah. But in this day and age, it's kind of just under the mega ship. So it's big. In fact, we've looked at the Joy a couple times. We almost booked it, in fact, this fall.
Yeah.
So it's kind of in that category that we would consider. So it's definitely not mega ship.
Right.
Yeah.
And Doug is saying, hi, everyone. Just finished packing for my cruise on Holland America's new Stondom, Amsterdam to Rome, with stops in Portugal and Spain. That sounds wonderful. Have a great time, Doug.
And just going past all the answers.
And Cruise and Travel Adventures with Brian has a question. What size would you recommend for a 2 to 3 year old grandson? So what I would recommend is to book with a cruise that sort of excels at traveling for families with entertainment for kids and kids clubs and that sort of thing. I mean, we raised our children cruising on Carnival because our kids loved the kids club. They loved the water parks, all of that. And it came in at a price that was affordable. I'm sure they would have loved Royal Caribbean too, but Royal Caribbean was just always more expensive. And so therefore we never took them on a Royal Caribbean cruise. But those would be the two that I would go to for that. Our children, our daughters and son loved the kids clubs on board those cruise lines. So that's what I would be looking at, is more so that than the size of the ship is what sort of, because if you go on a cruise ship that doesn't have things for children to do, then, it's more work for mom and dad and grandma and grandpa. We liked that our children were so entertained that we had to say, okay, you have to come with us out of the kids clubs now. It's time to go have dinner.
That was a long one, yeah. I had words to add to that. I'd forgotten them because it was so long ago that I thought
that's rude.
I would say that just about every cruise ship, except adults only, have some sort of a kids club. Some do it obviously better than others. Others have more options available. 2 to 3 is fairly young, so it's probably more supervised activities, whether it's craft playing. It's not going to really be big water slides and rope courses, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, and I think a lot of them have that category, not too bad. And I guess it depends too. Like, I would say that if the parents are the type of parents that want to be with the child all the time, then that might impact that they might want areas that they can go to with the children, right?
True.
Because like if they're going off to the kids club, a lot of times the adults can't go with it. It's just for the children, right? So it's supervised by the cruise ship instead of by the parents. So it depends on the type of parenting, I think, is kind of affecting, I think, how the cruise industry is dealing with children these days too.
Very good.
And okay, get past those ones. Getting past those ones, going past everybody's good answers that they had. And we're getting farther.
All right.
And would be based. Oh, Steven's, and I had this debate, Steven, just so you know, with myself. And I won the debate with myself. That mega ship should be based on maximum passenger capacity versus tonnage. The only reason I didn't do that is just because, I don't know. But because some ships are like mega ships with less passengers. So does that make them not a mega ship? Or does that make them a mega ship that has more space available for people? For me, the ship was the thing, not the number of people on the ship.
Oh, really?
Scott will have some really good thoughts about this.
See, and I would disagree. I would agree more with Stephen on that. So, because for me, I want to know how many people are on that floating ship with me. Whether there's 2,000 or 6,000 is a big difference in the experience in my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To me, it's the thing, right? I don't know.
That's just how your brain goes.
Is a steak a big steak even if it has lots of fat in it, or is it a big steak only because it only has meat in it? Does that make sense?
No, not really.
Too many people in port. I'm getting closer to the bottom of the line again. Way too many on the current atmosphere. Some ports of call. Just reading Ronald's comments here. Triggering more protests from people against cruise ships. Exactly my fear. Like it's. If you think about it, we're not doubling, we're tripling the number of ships hitting all these ports. It can't end well. I can't imagine it ends well.
Megan's asking my question. How do you find out the percentage of ships are sailing at before booking? You can't. And I really wish they would share that. Yeah, right? There is no way. Am I correct in that?
Most of the ones we've been on lately claim that they're at full capacity. So I don't know what that means. They have a little sign at the guest services desk that say we're at full capacity. All the ships have started to do this.
We've seen that on like at least the last 6 to 7 cruises we've been on, a sign saying that. Who knows?
And Scott is saying, but they are able to charge more on the mega ships. So that's where the profit machine really kicks in. If 35% of the people book a mega ship and the 65% after that are all huge profit making people, then and they're paying more money, then there's definitely more money in mega ships than small ships, just by that measure alone, for sure. And Wanda's just tuning in, go to bed.
Stephen says there was a hurricane named Jerry back in 1989. Are you planning to come back, Jerry?
I'd have to look it up in the cycle of names for hurricanes. I hope I am planning a comeback. Yeah,
he would really love that.
I think I sputtered out back then. I don't think I was too damaging. Peggy says the cruise ships can't be hurting if they're building these big ships. One is also going to be on the Joy in November. And at 100% capacity, the inclusive resorts look tempting again.
I know. We've thought that ourselves, actually.
Yeah, for sure. And so when we talk about capacity, this is where it gets scary because, and I've had this debate with Scott when I've talked to him, is capacity maximum capacity or is it double occupancy? I always measure it by double occupancy only because to me that's the number of cabins. But some ships like Carnival, for example, and Royal, they can fit more third and fourth people in the cabins than, say, a cruise line like Holland America that maybe has less cabins that have third and fourth.
Although it does work out. I mean, when we cruised on Holland America on the Connings Dam, the captain made an announcement saying in all his years of being a captain, this is the cruise that had more children than he's ever sailed with before. And there were so many families on board. So we were above the capacity because there was almost 600 children. 580 something was the number of children that were with us on that 7-day cruise in July in Alaska, which is unheard of, not normal for Holland America.
Brad is saying that he's new to the channel, so hello.
Hi, welcome.
They're going on their first cruise to Alaska, but they're trying to figure out which cruise line they're going to do it on. They've been watching us.
And Paul and Carol's videos.
Who?
Paul and Carol, yeah. Who?
Oh, I
think I know who they are.
I think I know Carol. Yeah, she knows a lot. Yeah. That other guy carries around this big long pole and tries to pretend to be me.
Funny. Anyways, welcome. Yeah. It's lots of fun researching and booking your first cruise. Let us know what you decide on.
Yeah, booking cruises can be as fun as going on cruises sometimes. So if you get a $1 deal for booking, just book them all. Kelly's saying to book Holland America, they do $1 deals. And how is the entertainment on board and music? I believe this is for us on Cunard.
Yeah, I thought it was wonderful. Really enjoyed the lots of live music every night at different venues, and I enjoyed the theater shows also.
Bruno's doing good. He's looking at the camera, but you can't see him. He's over there staring at you.
Yeah.
He's coming back for a comeback. Jeff says he thought the seashore was too big.
Yes, I agree.
Me too.
We really felt that. I think that was the most crowded we ever felt on any cruise ship we've been on.
I had the Cole say like and subscribe.
Yes, please.
For sure. If you're commenting, we know that you've subscribed because you have to be a subscriber to comment, at least for a minute. And Jill's correct.
Yeah, the children really drive those maximum capacity numbers. Yeah, it really depends on whether you've got 2 adults in a room or if you're adding 2 or 3 children with you, right?
For sure. So, okay, we'll jump back over to some of the news now. We've caught up. We'll go back and say hi to people at the very end and see if we got any more. We'll jump in if there's some comments. But
okay.
Next one I saw was some cruise cancellations, and this kind of got under my skin a little bit. I have to admit it. So
this one hit a little close to home too.
And the reason this one caught my attention was there was 2 announcements that I saw. Maybe there was more this week, but I saw Carnival Vista was canceled because they were going in for repairs because there's a problem with the engine not being able to go full speed. And then it was announced that the Pride of America from Norwegian was going in and canceling a couple, I think even 4 cruises might have been what it was, because they were going in for routine maintenance. And that's the one that started getting me going.
Right. Because why do you have to cancel cruises if it's routine maintenance? We understand if something's happened in the ship and it needs to be fixed before it's safe to be sailed again. Yep. But a routine maintenance, generally they schedule that a year or 2 ahead of time and they just block that off and don't sell rooms for that cruise or for that time period. But yeah, this is a new thing.
I'm seeing this happening more and more and more, where cruise ships are going off to have a refurbishment or they're off to have some service done. And it's not emergency. It's kind of the routine because every so many years they have to go in for inspections and have certain things done.
Right.
And they're just canceling the cruises instead of planning it out ahead of time so people don't have to get it. So I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. If you're the owner of one of these cruise lines and you're watching, correct me if I'm wrong. But it does seem like that I'm hearing this more and more often, that they're just canceling so they can go in for a refurbishment. And it used to be that you could look at gaps in the schedules and you could figure out what ships were going in for refurbishment because they are planned on not having anybody on board. That doesn't seem to be happening as much anymore. Now they're just booking everybody all the time, and then they just cancel people. So that kind of bothers me a bit. And the reason I guess it bothers me isn't so much because, they're canceling cruises. It's because I know enough people, and I've kind of been in this boat sometimes too, is you have to plan your vacations ahead of time. We have to fly all the time. So a lot of times we are booked months and months ahead of time for flights, even hotels that are so expensive now. And some people are trying to get deals on those things and they book the non-refundable. They don't have insurance. People still do that. I know they shouldn't, but sometimes that's the way you can afford to do it.
Right.
And so then when they go and they cancel this cruise, there's more of an impact than just, we'll give you a credit and you can book another cruise. It's really disturbing their life. Some people have to book vacation with their employer a year ahead of time. Yeah. Imagine if you booked that a year ahead of time and sorry, we're canceling, but you can go on the month later and you can't get that month for holidays.
Right.
I don't think that's fair.
And here's what's happening. So we know someone that this happened to. They just received an email notice this week that their cruise that they have booked for over a year ahead has been canceled. So they've been given a decent amount of notice. But to rebook the exact same cruise, the exact same itinerary for a different week is costing more than what they had originally booked. And the difference, so the Norwegian cruise line that they're booked with gave them a 10% credit with their canceled booking, but it doesn't make up the difference of what it is to rebook on another week. So now if you want to do that cruise that you already booked 6 months ago, it's going to cost you more money. So that doesn't sit right. That's the biggest thing I think in my mind that would be the most upsetting.
Yeah. And Scott made a comment there. I just saw come in saying that the cruise lines, it feels like they're hedging and using people's money. And think about it. If you've got a cruise ship with 2,000 people on it, that's not a lot. Or say 5,000 people, and they've all given you $100 deposit. That's a low deposit.
Yeah, that's a low deposit.
That's $50,000 for each cruise.
Yeah.
So there's 4 cruises they cancel. That's $200,000 with interest rates the way they are right now. That's an easy 10 grand, an interest.
Maybe for them, that's not much, but it is to us, right? That's an issue. That's popping up more and more. We never heard of this before.
No, it used to be you knew when they were going to refurbish, it was planned well ahead of time, and now all of a sudden it's like, oh, surprise, we're canceling cruises for routine maintenance. Or come out and say it's not routine maintenance, we didn't expect this, because then people have a little more empathy.
Yeah, you don't feel bad when you know that, okay, this has to happen because they had an engine failure and they have to fix this engine or a turbine or whatever was going on, right? Mm-hmm.
Anyways, just saw that one, caught my attention. And a little bit of port talk here.
Okay.
So Royal Caribbean is working on a new beach resort that's going to be near Nassau on Paradise Island.
Paradise Island. Okay.
And so when I first saw this, I thought there was a story about them making a new private island thing. And of course, they've got to make all their own destinations because they can't fit anywhere with the big ships. But this isn't that.
So they will be docking where we always dock in Nassau,
yeah.
And they just have a private place that they'll be taking all their passengers to.
I don't know if all of them, but it's definitely whoever wants to go. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you have to pay to go to this private beach club?
I haven't heard. I'm not sure.
Oh, okay.
Maybe not.
Okay.
Probably not.
I'm envisioning if you guys have ever been to Nassau, there's not a beach within sight of where you dock. You've got to sort of.
Kind of is. There's the Hilton across the way that people go to the beach.
Yeah, but I mean, there's no like open area that I'm seeing. I'm trying to think now. Paradise Beach, is that you could take
Paradise
tenders
Island.
to it? Paradise Island. That's
so
what
I think that's the main island of Nassau. Is that?
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So
that should be interesting to see what that looks like.
And Royal Caribbean also said that they've got a new kind of exclusive area in a place called Cabo Rojo. I don't know if I got that right. Rojo. My Spanish isn't good. But anyways, it is in the Dominican Republic.
Okay.
It sounds to me as something like Amber Cove, but it's in a different part of the island of Dominican Republic. So they're going to be going there as well. So again, I wonder if that's a tactic to have somewhere to put their big monstrous ships as well. What I thought was really interesting is that I did see in the release that it was that people were talking about, well, what if they were changing itineraries and putting this port in instead of sea days is what they've been doing. And people were kind of like, oh, what if we don't want to go there? We already booked it. We wanted a sea day. And they said to them, well, you can just make a sea day. This is what the release said. You can just stay on the ship. You don't have to get off.
Well, it's true. You don't have to.
But it's not really a sea day because you're not out the waves in the ocean. And
I see what you're saying.
And they don't have sea day activities on the ship because they're in port.
Yeah, that's true.
So
that's true too.
I thought that was a funny comeback to me. It was it was kind of, I was seeing a lot of comedy in the news this week, and that was one of the ones I had to laugh about. And the other thing is, this one is really upsetting.
Oh.
This one's going to get you going too.
Okay.
Half Moon Key.
Yes.
We love it.
Yes.
One of the most beautiful spots, white sand between your toes type of place.
Beautiful. Carnival
is going to be putting in a pier there. And when I first heard that, I thought, okay, that's not too bad. That way we don't have to worry about the tenders going to that beautiful. I'm thinking that I'm not upset about that until I heard the reason they're doing it is they announced they're going to start bringing in the Carnival XL ships, the big, huge Mardi Gras and everything else. The reason they're putting the pier is to bring the huge Carnival ships, not the nice little quaint Holland America ships.
So you're going to be there on your 2,000 passenger new Amsterdam ship wanting to snorkel, but you won't be able to because there's going to be 6,000 people getting off the Celebration next to you and you'll be hitting people under the water.
Yep.
Ooh, shoot.
And they're I think they've even realized that it's not big enough for that. So now they're talking about, they're trying to figure out how they're going to be able to expand the beach. I'm not sure in what direction they're going to try to expand it. And we wondered, because the last time we were in Half Moon Key, it looked like something was going on there.
Yeah, we could tell looked like they were trying to build some sort of dock there. The beginnings of that was happening.
Our quaint little Half Moon Key sounds like it's going to longer be a quaint little place. And I wish the Carnival would just take all their ships and go to Celebration Key, I think it's called.
Yeah, they have. Aren't they building a private one right now?
It opens up very soon, yeah. And Carnival is going to have that. So why ruin Half Moon Key when you can take all the Carnival ships that way?
Oh, darn it.
So yeah, I was a little disappointed when I heard that news because I was excited about the pier, and then I'm not excited about the fact it was going to hold the big, huge Carnival ships.
Yeah.
So it's kind of sad news about Half Moon Key for me.
Yeah.
And also in the news was this one we kind of already a little bit kind of covered, but they've announced another Icon class ship. So that means there's going to be 3 more on top of what they have now. So that one I think is going to come out in 2027. So that's just more announcements about mega ships. But the next one is really interesting news. This just came out a few days ago on Instagram, and MSC, an Italian cruise line, usually builds their ships in the Mediterranean. They've been negotiating with the Finnish shipbuilding that builds a lot of big ships. And their plan is, what they're trying to do now is they want to build the biggest cruise ship in the world and build something bigger than all the Royal Caribbeans. That's what MSC is in the middle of doing now. That was what was kind of breaking this week.
And it's going to be built in Finland?
And yes.
And normally their ships are
in the
built
Mediterranean.
in Italy?
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, so that kind of, I thought, what? So now we're going to get into like a, it used to be back when I was growing up, there was an arms race. Now there's like a cruise ship race.
Cruise ship race.
But not racing in the literal sense. It's going to be who can build the biggest ship.
Who can build the biggest one? The competition is on. That's probably exactly what's going on in some boardrooms right now.
So it sounds like, that MSC has thrown down the gauntlets that we're going to build the biggest in the world. We're going to beat Royal Caribbean. So obviously that doesn't happen very fast. Mm-hmm. So I'm curious to see if now Royal Caribbean says, oh, we're going to show them we're going to build something bigger still. And they're going to kind of not release what's going on so the other one doesn't know how big to build it. We go back to the word of insanity about the cruise industry right now.
Wouldn't it be just nice if we get an announcement this week that Holland America is going to build a 2,500 passenger cruise ship? Wouldn't we like to hear that? Yeah. No announcements from Holland America making a cruise, right? There's nothing on the books. Yeah. They've made no announcements. Really would like them to have another one.
We could have a Sunday Live celebrating small ship announcements coming out. Yes.
Yeah, that would be lovely.
Yes, that would be really nice. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, yes. You can see it bothers me, right?
Yeah, we can tell. You're quite worked up. He's very worked up about this.
And with our MSC experience, I'm thinking, my goodness, that many people having a bad experience can't go well. So, I don't know. But how much bigger can you get? That's what I keep thinking. Maybe we're gonna see the first ships go over 250,000 tons. Like, yeah. What can you do?
Move it along.
Other news: Princess raised their gratuities $1 per person per day. That's funny because that's the reaction I had. Was like, well, a lot of people get the Princess Plus and everything else, so like it's already included in the fare. So it's kind of an odd announcement.
So are they increasing the cost of the Princess Plus by $1 a day more?
No, at least they said that if people have already booked the Princess Plus and Premium and everything else, that they weren't going to be impacted. So I'm not sure if maybe that will eventually impact it.
Well, my only comment on that is that I know that Princess wasn't charging as much as some other cruise lines for their gratuities. So maybe this is a good thing, and they're just, paying the staff what the staff would get paid if they were working for other cruise lines in when it came to gratuities. Because I'm pretty sure that, Norwegian charges more and maybe a few others. I'm not sure. But I know that from looking at our statements in the past, they're less than some cruise lines. So.
I've seen a couple of comments coming here. Scott saying that Holland America needs 4 more Pinnacle class.
Yeah, I agree.
I want 4 more Volendam class.
Oh yeah, we do. We definitely want that class. Yeah, that size for sure.
And Ob and Steve are commenting, I think, on the Royal Caribbean's private resort, saying it's on a spit of land with the lighthouse across from the Nassau port. Paid access.
So thanks for
there's an update on
clearing that up. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, this one, like I said, I found a lot of comedy in this month's worth of cruise news I haven't looked at for a while.
Okay.
And this one was a Carnival survey that found that 57% of their guests like it when the cruise directors are on the PA system yelling about what's going on around the ship.
Oh.
This was their head cruise director, I guess, in charge of PR there, John Heald. That he had said that Carnival had done a survey and that because people were complaining about too many announcements, and he said that this was the proof he had that most people aren't bothered by it. To me, 57% is just barely half of your customers.
Yeah,
but it was an interesting way to frame it to me. That means that almost as many are not happy with it.
Okay.
So,
yeah, it's not really my favorite thing. Yeah, it's pretty annoying. So, like, are we just talking about it being in the public areas or in your room? Because that makes a difference too.
It's funny because in the article I read said something about staterooms as well, which is usually only for emergencies.
Yeah.
So right. I'm not sure if there was a mistake there or not.
Okay. Yeah. Usually it's just like muster drill that comes in your room and the captain, if there is like a medical emergency and they have to go back to port or something like that, right?
Yep. So I thought that was very interesting that they were saying, oh, it's fine because most of the people don't mind it. Well, 57 is not most.
It's so funny because we cruised Carnival for 22 cruises in a row, and so it sort of became what you're used to being on a cruise ship, although I did feel like, and maybe it was just my perception, that the last few cruises there seemed to be more announcements and they lasted longer than what they ever used to. But for us, going on our very first Holland America cruise, coming off of a Carnival cruise, and we were like day 2 in and we went, wait a minute, there's been no like cruise director telling us that the hairy chest contest is going on at the pool deck or any of that kind of stuff type thing. And yeah, it was just so very refreshing because all of that stuff is in the program or on your phone, on the app. So do we need to have those announcements?
Well, that's what Roberta's saying, the same thing. She's saying that she can read about it in the Daily Planner.
Yeah.
Some of the people that complain in Carnival were saying the exact same thing. It's already in the app. Why do you need to do that? I know it's the last time that we were on Princess. Same thing. The cruise director would come on and say, here's what's coming up this afternoon. I'm thinking, well, it's in the patter. Why do we need to do this?
I will say, for someone that has a horrible memory like I do have, there has been 1 or 2 occasions where I've been on a cruise ship and I have heard them make an announcement and I've looked at whoever I was cruising with and say, oh yeah, I read that last night. I wanted to do it. Do you want to go? So I understand that that's probably why they're doing it for people like me. Not that I really enjoy it though.
There you go. You're part of the 57%.
You're
part of the 57%.
I'd rather miss something than be interrupted if I'm relaxing or having a little Lido deck snooze on your pool, sea day.
I'm part of the 43%.
Yeah. Yeah.
As again, we're on the opposite sides.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this week, Holland America has been releasing some of their details of their schedule. They're now going to have more than half of their entire fleet in Alaska in 2026.
Half? 6 out of 11 ships.
6 out of 11
all
ships.
Cruising Alaska
all
next
Alaska
summer.
in the summer.
Guess I have to go back to Alaska if I want to get on a Holland America cruise.
Yeah, that's why I can't find any Caribbean cruises in the summer with Holland America.
Definitely, they don't have anything going in the Caribbean. But I guess the other half are doing Europe.
I would say probably most of them are in Europe somewhere or Alaska. I don't think they have any in the South Seas at that time of year because it's their winter.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
wow.
So yeah, over half the fleet will now be in Alaska. So Alaska, when it's already busy, it's going to get busier still, is what I'm seeing there. Fortunately, it's Holland America and it's not the mega ships, but
but they'll have smaller ships, which they do, right? They always do. Holland America always has nice smaller ships going in Alaska, which is kind of unique too.
And Holland America has such a historic connection with cruising Alaska that they do get a lot of the preferred berths when they show up at port. So if you're going to do Alaska, maybe that's good advice there for the ones that were asking about cruising Alaska. Holland America does have that perk that you're going to be in a nice sweet spot when you show up to town. So Bruno wants to come back again. Or he's saying, hey, it's time for this to end, he's saying.
Stop talking. You talk too much, Mama.
Oh, so we'll go back. Was there any more comments coming in? Because I ran out of interesting things to talk about, if they were interesting. I thought a lot of them were funny this week. Comments. Start at the bottom and go up. Stacy says she doesn't really mind announcements in the room. Why not just provide a volume? And I have seen that some cruise ships
used to be like that.
Yeah.
Like I can remember when we first started cruising with Carnival, you had a little dial right by the makeup area on some of the cabins we were in, and you also had a dial by the bed. But the newer ships, don't have that.
I don't know if it's a safety thing that they don't want you turning down the emergency announcements now.
Oh, maybe that could be why.
I'm not sure how that works. Yep.
But you're right. That used to be a thing.
Yep. And Roberta's saying, unless it's an emergency, read about it in the
Daily
planner. Yeah, for sure. I think we've caught up with the comments.
I think we have.
And Kelly and Rome are saying...
Kelly and Rome. Kelly Rome.
Kelly and Rome. And Steve. Oh, so I think we've caught up.
All right.
We're after the hour. It's a long weekend, so I know a lot of you want to get out there and enjoy yourselves, have some dinner, barbecue, maybe a fire tonight.
Oh, are you having a fire tonight?
I'm not having a fire tonight, With the way the wind is, if I had a fire, then all my neighbors would have a fire too.
Oh, it's pretty windy where we are right now, for sure. Crazy winds. Anyways, everybody enjoy the rest of your weekend, and thanks for tuning in and watching. And please do hit the like button. And if you haven't subscribed, do that. All those great things. Follow us on Instagram.
Yep, and for all those students watching this, enjoy going back to school this week.
Oh, that's right. Back to school. All our teachers, hope you have a great school year.
Yeah, you won't be going back.
Oh, it's the happiest time of the year for me right now. No, but everybody that is in the school system, best of luck.
Thanks, everybody. We'll talk to you again next weekend. We're going to be here. Bye-bye.
Bye.